Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to another Moralis tutorial video. Recently we launched our integration with the Aptos network, and today you are going to learn how to authenticate your users using Moralis Auth with the Petra wallet. So basically, if I click here on connect, I'm going to get triggered to connect my Petra wallet account. I can approve this, and then we are going to send a challenge request to the Moralis SDK, on which we are going to have a message like this one. We can approve this, and if everything goes well, we are going to have a new profile ID stating that the authentication with Moralis went through successfully. Also, I have here the wallet address just to double check that I'm actually using the address over here. This is going to be a really straightforward process, but for those who don't know what Moralis authentication is, keep watching because we are just getting started. What's up YouTube, my name is Vasily, your Web3 instructor from Latin America, Ecuador. I've been building on the space since 2020 with cool crypto projects. In my free time I really enjoy singing and playing the guitar, and if the time is good, I like to go out and take some meditations. But enough about me, let's go back to the video and start building. For those of you who haven't used Moralis authentication before, we are going to have a little quick explanation about how it works. If you already have worked with authentication, you can skip directly to the coding part. So Moralis authentication, one tool to authenticate them all. Basically, Moralis authentication is authentication made easy, because you can unify both Web3 wallets and Web2 accounts in the same application. It's compatible with any tech stack. You can own and control all your users' data, and is compatible with OpenID, OAuth, DIDs, and other standards. So basically, Moralis authentication is simple authentication compatible with a lot of blockchains and with just a small portions of code. The way it works is really easy. First of all, we request the user to log in using a wallet, usually MetaMask or any other popular wallet. The dapp called Moralis to generate a new challenge. The challenge is going to return to the user as a message the user has to sign. This message is going to be passed to the user, which is going to receive it, and they have to sign it, using, of course, their wallet address. Once the user has signed, we are going to trigger a verify challenge on which we are going to use that signature and the message to verify if that corresponds to that wallet address. If the signature gets verified properly, well, we are going to handle that authentication. We are going to create a new local user, and it means that our user is going to be authenticated. If not, if that signature is wrong and does not correspond properly, well, the dapp is going to return an error message, and the user is going to be informed that they should try again. And as easy as that, we can authenticate our users using Moralis. So after that explanation, let's check out the two endpoints we need to interact with. First, we need to request the Aptos challenge, on which we are going to pass some interesting information to the backend. With that request challenge, we need to sign a message, and the verify is going to take that signature and the message to verify if the wallet address is valid or not. If everything goes well, this is going to return a big response, and the most important part here is the profile ID, because it means the authentication went through correctly. Fortunately, Moralis is good enough to provide us all the code we need to run this on different programming languages. Today we are going to use the Pythonic version, creating a really simple server using Flask. So before copying and pasting this into the code, let's set up that mini server. This is going to be a really simple process, so let's get started. So here I have a new file called app.py. So let's get started by importing Flask. So from Flask, import Flask and request. Let's also import from Flask course, import the course. Then we are going to store our API keys over here on a .env file. So let's also import from .env, import load.env. Also let's import requests. This is a pretty standard Python library. And finally, let's import OS. And by the way, if you're wondering how to install all these dependencies, don't forget to check out the link on the description. And on the GitHub repo, you are going to find the necessary documentation in order for you to know how to install this. Let's load that env and let's create an app using Flask. And of course, we are going to use cores to add that bypassing layer. Next, we need to declare our API key. Let's say here Moralis API key. So we need to add this Moralis API key here on the .env file. So if you do not have a Moralis account yet, this is the part of the video for you to hit pause, go to moralis.io, create your free account, and here on your admin panel, you are going to get your API key. Just don't forget to paste it over here. With that, we can create our first root. So let's say app.root. This is going to be called request challenge, and it's going to have the methods get. Let's define the function def rec challenge, and here we need to pass some logic. As we are going to send some information from the front end, let's say that the arguments are going to be equal to the request.arguments. And now we are ready to use the rest of the code provided by Moralis. So we can just return to the page, request Aptos challenge, copy the code provided here and paste it on our code. Of course, we don't need these comments, we don't need requests because we already imported up here. And now we can just take all of this and put it inside of the function. And as easy as that, we now are connecting to that Moralis endpoint. Of course, this has burned information, so we are going to replace the ones we need. The domain name, you can use whatever you want, maybe your web page name. The statement, this is going to be the message we are going to send to the user, asking them to confirm this. Then we need to set up a expiration time. So let's set it, let's say through March this year. Then we have a timeout, which is the maximum time this request is going to be active. The chain ID is going to be 1. As we are using Aptos, they just have one chain ID, so we don't have to worry about this. And then the address. Of course, the address are going to come from the Petra wallet. So instead of using this burned address here, let's say args.getAddress. And the same is going to be for the public key. So args.getPublicKey. Now, the Moralis endpoint set up the API key as test, but we already have our own. Let's put here our API key. And basically that's it. But instead of just printing this, let's return that response.test. And as easy as that, we adapted this Moralis endpoint to send the Aptos challenge to our really simple Python server. So now we already have the endpoint to request the challenge. So let's create a new one to verify that challenge. So down here, let's create a new app root, which is going to be verified challenge. Let's declare that function, verify challenge. Again, we are going to get the arguments from the front end. And now we can do the exact same process as we did before. Go back to the page, copy the code over here, go back to the code, paste the code over here, delete the parsed we don't need, put this inside the function, and now replace the message and the signature from the ones we are going to get from the front end. So let's delete all of this and take the message from the arguments, and the same is going to be for the signature. Again, we need to use our own API key, and here let's return that response.text. Finally, we need to create an entry point for our server. So let's say if name equals main app.run. Let's say the debug to true. Let's run this on the local host and let's use the port 3000. And as easy as that, we have our Python server 100% ready. As I told you, this was going to be a really straightforward process because we just need to use the endpoint Moralis already provide us, and of course adapt those to our specific needs. And now we can go to the terminal and run python app.py and this is going to start running our local server. So now we can connect to the server through the front end. For the front end, here I have a really simple template on which we have this Aptos Web3 authentication button. And if I click on connect wallet, for now the button does not do anything. We need to connect the wallet to our dapp and then go through the Moralis authentication process. And as you saw at the beginning of the video, we are not using MetaMask, we are using the Petra wallet. And the reason is because MetaMask is not compatible with Aptos. So please go to petra.app and install your Petra wallet, which is natively compatible with the Aptos network. And connecting this wallet to our webpage is going to be really easy. And the reason is because besides another wallet connections such as MetaMask, on which we would have to use something like WAGMI to create a client, etc. The Petra wallet has an integrated SDK we can just use directly from the frontend and connect the wallet right away. So let's do that really quick. Let's first create a new function called getAptosWallet, on which we are going to check if the window has the word Aptos. We are going to return the windows.aptos. If not, we can send the user to download that wallet. So window.open, we're going to send them to the Petra app, and of course we are going to send them into a new tab. And once after checking if the browser has the Aptos wallet installed, in this case the Petra wallet, now we can connect directly to the wallet. So const connect wallet is going to be an asynchronous function. Const wallet is going to be equal to first get Aptos wallet in order to get that wallet, and then let's use a try statement which is corresponsive catch, and inside of the try statement let's say const response is going to be equal to await wallet.connect, const account going to be equal to await wallet.account, and this is basically it, just to connect the Petra wallet to the web page. So let's try if this works properly. For that, we need to execute this connect wallet function here on the onClick section of this button. So let's put it there, the connect wallet, and let's try this out. So let's click on connect wallet. This is going to trigger the Petra wallet. Let's approve this. And as easy as that, we are already connected. We can check that out on the settings, security and privacy, and connected apps. And as you can see here, we are connected to our local host server. So as you saw, that was really easy to connect the wallet to our dapp. Now we need to go through the Moralis authentication process. And again, this is going to be a really straightforward process because we just need to call that endpoints on the backend. So let's do that. First of all, let's say const data is going to be equal to await. To connect to the backend, we are using Axios. Again, if you don't know which dependencies we are using for this project, don't forget to check out the GitHub repo on which you are going to find instructions to install Axios, and also the UI framework we are using for the styling. So await axios.get. Let's connect to that endpoint, request challenge, and here we are going to send the parameters. So the params are going to be, remember, for the backend, we need to send over the address and the public key. This address and this public key are going to come directly from the Petra wallet once we log in on the page. So we can just use them. So let's say address is going to be equal to account.address, and the public key is going to be equal to account.public-key. This is going to send over that challenge to the Moralis SDK. So here we can get the message. So const message equals data.message. And now we can sign that. So const, we are going to have two variables, signature and the full message. And this is going to be await wallet.sign message. And we are going to send more parameters here on the message section. So let's say address false, application false, chain ID is going to be false, because we are not sending these parameters over. The only thing we are sending here is the message. And we need an ans, which is also going to be null. If you don't know why we are using this sign message function and sending over these parameters, I highly encourage you to check out Aptos documentation and Petra wallet documentation to understand how these parameters works. Now, once we sign that message, which again is going to send over all of this information for the user and ask them to confirm if they want to log in, we can now call that verification on the SDK. So const verification is going to be equal to await axios.get. Let's connect to the verified challenge endpoint, and also we are going to send the parameters as we did above. So let's save the params. The message is going to be the full message, and the signature is going to be the signature. Again, remember, we send these parameters because these are the ones the verified challenge needs. And remember, again, we are sending those parameters because these are the ones the payload needs, the message and the signature. And the signature is the hash we are going to get after we sign the message using our wallet address. With that, we already have a verification, and if the verification goes through properly, we are going to get that profile ID. So up here, I'm going to create two new variables called profile ID and user wallet. First, for that, I need to import use state from React. And now let's set those up down here. So let's set the profile ID to the verification.data.profile ID and the wallet address to verification.data.address. And with that, we can just change this a little bit in order to change this dynamically if we have or we have not that profile ID. I'm going to do that really quick, replacing this for this. So we have the profile ID, then we are going to show the profile ID and the user wallet, which was assigned after the verification, and with a logout button, which is just going to set that profile ID to null. And if we haven't passed yet through the challenge and verification process, we are going to have that button to connect to the wallet. So let's see if this works properly. Here I have the Aptos authentication with Petra. If I click on connect wallet, remember, I already had the wallet connected. That's why I'm just having this sign prompt on which we have to sign the information. Please confirm you want to log in. If I approve this, I'm going to get the profile ID of that authentication, and of course the wallet address I'm using to go through this authentication. This means that the Moralis authentication workflow went through correctly. And yep, that's it. As easy as that, we have our Aptos authentication using Moralis. And that was it for today's tutorial. Don't forget, all the code for this lesson is on the GitHub repo, so check out the link on the description. And as you are already here, click over here to subscribe to Moralis channel, turn on the notifications, and also check out more videos. Thanks for watching till the end, and see you on the next occasion.